Punky Brewster. That's my intro now because I can't come up with anything better. And this is an episode of Finding Found, a show based on the hit television show on NBC called Found. Takeerah Takeerah can't get her life together right now. She'll be here in a second. I am shook. I was just scrolling TikTok and I'm sorry, but Melissa Joan Hart has been cast as a grandmother in a movie? I'm disgusted. A grandmother. Excuse me. She's Clarissa Explains It All. She's not a grandma. Come on, man. It's like saying I'd be a grandma. I'm not old enough to be a grandma. Am I old enough to be a grandma? Yeah, if I had a baby at 16, my baby had a baby at 16, I could be a grandmother. But still, I'm not. And neither is Melissa Joan Hart. Thank you. Hi, Jermaine. It's okay. Raise. There she is.
You don't even know how mad this thing just made me.
Well, okay, so here's the thing. When I texted you that link last night, I was like, maybe I shouldn't text it to her. Maybe I should send it to her on Instagram. And then I was like, no, that's all right. Because she can just copy it from her text messages and send it to her own Instagram. I don't have to do that. And so then when you were like, I'm typing it in, I was like, oh God, this fool did not do what I thought you would.
Well, see, I usually I'm not logged into Instagram on my computer either. So I was typing it in like Dave, he sends it to me on Discord or
Mhm.
whatever. That's the only thing I'm logged into. So I'm like typing it in, but I'm looking at the link now, because I just clicked it and I'm looking at the link, and it's not exactly the link that they send for you to type in. So I don't know. I'm so mad at it.
Mm-mm. Hi, Marcus.
Hey, Marcus.
Anyway, enough about that. Nobody's watching us right now. Somehow Marcus just replied, but nobody's watching us. Anyway. Uh excuse me. Still sick, of course, because of course I am. This is just my life now. So tonight we are talking about the 11th episode of the first season of NBC's hit television show Found, Missing While Interracial. Okay, so some hot topics in this episode. This episode was written by one, oh, now I lost it because I clicked a link. Written by one Michael G. Peterson and directed by Michael Schultz. That's how I lost it because I was like, let me look up Michael Schultz. Michael Schultz has done so much. So much. He is 85 years old. So what? He's still directing? What? If Wikipedia is to be believed, but we would run into the same thing with IMDb. They'd be throwing nonsense up there. So who knows? Um anyway, he this is the most baffling part, I think, of or most impressive, I should say, part of his repertoire is that he he was in charge of Sergeant Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band.
Wow.
It was the largest budget at the time. This was in 1978. It was the largest budget entrusted to an African American film director to that date. Unfortunately, it was a commercial and critical failure. So, but still a cool fact.
Mhm.
Um, so pretty interesting stuff. More recently, he is still very active, which is wild. But more recently, he did some stuff for the Wonder Years, like the new Wonder Years, All American, Manifest, Code Black. Let's see. Oh, Once Upon a Time, New Girl, Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, which makes sense. He did a lot of work in theater, so makes sense for sure. Chuck, Mysteries of Laura. These are all great shows.
Mhm.
Ally McBeal, even
Wow.
Diagnosis Murder. Oh my goodness, this guy was it. This guy was it. Is her kid a teen mom? Okay. Okay. Let me go to the comments because all right, before Takira, before you got here, I was scrolling on TikTok and I came across a clip from a movie in which Melissa Joan Hart was playing a grandmother.
Oh.
I'm not okay with this. This is
What?
probably the most millennial thing I've ever said. I'm simply not okay with this. So Maxine in the chat just said, "Is her kid a teen mom?" Because I said I'm not old enough to be a grandmother. And I said, "Well, I would be if I had like a kid at 16, and then they had a kid at 16." But anyway, I still don't stand by it. But no, no, her kid was not a teen mom. Like her grandchild was like a teen, like a fully grown teen. I'm I'm offended too, Heather. I'm offended too. I'm sorry, this is
um.
way off topic. I am just like I'm baffled. I am baffled right now.
So wait.
Just I'm no, we're just gonna leave it there and we're gonna move on to the episode. And now you guys just have to deal with this. Everyone's leaving. Are you all leaving right now to like Google Melissa Joan Hart in this movie? That reminds me of Raven's home when Raven had 2 preteen kids. I can't Maxine, I don't like this. Love that you're here. Don't like this though. Don't like this. Okay. I gotta move on. I gotta move on. I can't handle it. I can't handle it. It's like Girl Meets World all over again. Okay. So the 11th episode of Found.
By the way, hi everyone.
Hi.
Sorry.
Yes. I know. I just rolled right past it. You weren't here. you weren't here. So I just did all this already. Okay. So we know who it was written by, we know who it was directed by. Now we're just gonna I'm trying something new this week. We're gonna do written by, directed by, and then we're just gonna roll right into the main storyline. So main storyline was Brandon, right?
Mhm.
And Allison.
Mhm.
Are they lovers or are they not? Taiwalani. Are they lovers or are they not? Who knows? Brandon goes missing, and then all of a sudden we find out Allison is also missing, except Allison's mother is like, Brandon took my daughter or whatever. And everyone's like, why does she have a picture of the guy of that guy? One, how'd she get that? Um, it was a lot. And okay, so turns out surprise, they were together. And Allison has a horrible hedge fund boyfriend at worst. Allison's mom was the worst.
Absolute worst.
Brandon's mom had a moment. And then
Mhm.
and then yeah, some real Karen behavior. I know the accusatory press conference was really just what was weird. Then also we had a horrible podcaster with really bad hair
Oh
who
my god, I
who
wanted
was
to punch his face off.
on TV with Gabi for some gotcha journalism, which I don't love. So yeah, that happened. Surprise! Guess what? Everybody, you were all wrong. And Allison and Brandon are actually together. And Frankenstein, please go lay down because your whining is very loud. And and they're actually together. And her hedge fund boyfriend sucks, and nobody likes him except for the 91% of friends that she has that are also his mutuals. So, I guess all that's to say you can't trust the mutuals. So, yeah. And as it turns out, they just went on a nice little romantic getaway and they were out there and then she fell in the woods. But did she fall? Anyway, that's what the true crimes part of me was like, did she fall though, or did she push her? No, she fell. She fell and she was impaled by a piece of wood or a branch or whatever. And the medic that Brandon is, well, he just jumped into the rescue and made himself a human body, like blood bag.
Mhm.
And anyway, he saved her life, possibly at the risk of his own. Way to go, doctor that came out because he really had me convinced he was dead. So congratulations on that, because she comes out and she's like, Brandon was a great man. And I was like, not the past tense, but but she said it. And then she said, and he's in recovery, so he's fine. So And I'm pretty sure at hospitals, they don't let you stay in the same room together like that, but it's okay. TV pick. Um, that's not how that works. But I was confused by a branch sticking out of the ground. Okay, see, that's what I was thinking too. I'm like, "How did this branch impale?" That's where I'm like, "Did she fall?" No. He was good. He was good, and he saved her. And this part of that hit a little bit too close to home because guess what? If you don't know me, I love to trauma dump on this show. Specifically, I trauma dump everywhere because my therapist told me it's fine. Probably not to the degree that I do it, but I'm not gonna tell her that I do it that much. Anyway, so my husband actually saved my life a little over 5 years ago. So this hit a little close to home for me. Um, and when I saw Allison's mom go over and thank Brandon, all I could think was, I wonder if that's how my mom feels about my husband now. Because he's the only reason I'm alive. Anyway, just a fun little fact about my life. So that was the episode. Did I get everything? I feel like I got everything. Okay, good night, everybody. I'm just kidding. Now we're gonna go into the stuff that we love, okay? Because the main story is great, and this was a really good one. I really enjoyed it. Um, some real crazy characters came out of this one for sure. But the stuff we really like is the wraparound story because that is what keeps us going week to week.
Except your girl over here is in an interracial marriage with an
Mm.
interracial
Oh,
child.
that's true. That's true. That's true. Okay, I'll give you your platform to Santa. Um, yes. Yes, there was one part of this episode Takira and I spoke about an hour ago. And there was one area of this episode in particular that we wanted to hit on.
So there are multiple things I identified with in this episode. I identified with being the mom of a black man. My son is 20 years old, and
So you
I
could
was,
be a grandma.
yeah, I could be a grandma. I
I'm
could
just
be a grandma.
teasing. I'm just teasing.
um, and the conversation that she had about who her son should bring home and should want to be with and could be the most supportive to him. I would never, ever, ever want that from my son. She's sending him out into the world feeling fear on one part, which is going to cause him to be angry
Mhm.
because in most situations, I know in a lot of situations like that make me afraid, it's usually immediately followed by some kind of anger or agitation.
Well, because fear makes us vulnerable. So,
Mhm.
and we don't like being vulnerable as humans.
And it's just like you're first of all, my husband is white. We have two daughters, but one he has one biological daughter. And then I have two older kids by a black man. So my kids are black, black, black mixed. And you know, a lot of the things that we face as black people, um
Lay it out there, lady. Lay it out there. It's okay.
I would never want my son to miss out on the love of his life because she's not black. I don't know how to
Sure.
put it more simply than that and to
Sure.
put it in a way that hopefully will not offend anyone,
Mhm.
but pretty much that is what it boils down to. Like, you're sending your kid out into the world with a certain attitude that's going to make him feel a certain way about certain people that could
Mhm.
literally help him, or could be the love of his life, or just could be someone that he's supposed to know, or just any situation like getting a job, going in to get a car, any situation. You do not want to send them in with a negative frame of mind.
Yeah. When Takira and I spoke earlier tonight, because I finally was able to watch that episode today. I did not watch live last night because it was just I was just too tapped. Like I've said recently, this is the busiest month of my year. It's a very busy month for everyone I know, but I work for a school that is part of a church. So it's like 10 times. Like so many things are going on every day. So it's very, very busy. So, what we talked about earlier was just that I was uh, it took me aback when we hit that conversation. I understood where she was coming from. I mean,
Hmm.
it's not my life. I haven't lived that existence, so I can't say with 100% certainty that I know exactly where she's coming from. But I understood what she was saying.
Hmm.
But all I could think was, if we continue to hold on to mentalities like this, we'll never get past it, ever. And it made me really sad. It just made me feel super sad. Um, and I have okay, so Takira and I are friends via the internet, right? We met through the podcast that I'm on, but we have met in person, and
Hmm.
I have been privileged enough to see her with Richie, her husband, and they're in love. And to think that that ever could have not happened because someone could have told you, just, I don't want this for you in your life, makes me so sad.
Yeah.
Because seeing you together and seeing how happy you make each other is so nice. It's nice for my friend. It's nice for Richie. I mean, just seeing how happy Richie is with you makes me happy. Like, I would hate that for either of you to not know each other because of that, or for your daughter to not exist because of that.
Right.
Is I just hate that. So, it's just one of those things that we didn't want to get on like a huge tirade about this. We talked about it earlier, but it is in particular Takira's experience, so I wanted her to be able to discuss that.
And
So,
no, my family didn't. I'm not going to say every single member of my family, but no, they didn't and don't like the fact that I decided to marry outside of my race. They would never say those words, but everything about him that makes him different is what they don't like about him,
mhm.
basically.
Mhm. It's just, yeah. Well, okay. We're not gonna go on a whole thing about, like, injustice in the world because there's so much of it.
Mhm.
As my boss, and who is also a friend of mine, always say, "We can't fix all the world's problems tonight." So, we will we'll move on. But I just thought that was important that Takira be able to share, and also just wanted to state that, like, this is a safe place if you guys wanna say anything in the chat. I know that people always say, like, "This is safe." It is the internet, so there's that. But we're open to other people's opinions. So feel free to say whatever you want, within reason.
Oh, Chanessa makes a good point too.
Yes. Okay. So that is something I wanted to bring up, actually,
Mhm.
Chanessa. So Chanessa said, and the fact that neither of them thought they could tell their parents meant that no one knew where they were. Uh, Here's a piece of advice for you. All of you, anyone listening to this, never, ever, 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 ever go hiking
Mm.
alone. Never, never. No, not even then. Never. And if you are going hiking, and let's say you're going with just one other person, you should always let someone know where you are.
Mhm.
Always let them know what trail you're taking, let them know what park you're at. Please. Uh, I, Takira and I both watch a lot of true crime. And I don't know about you, Takira, but I can't tell you how many stories have started out with someone going on a hike by
Oh, yeah.
themselves or with a small group of friends, and then crazy stuff happens.
And sometimes it's not even a full hike that they're going on. It's just a run.
Yep, a run, camping. There's that whole what is it? The Vi I'm gonna totally butcher the name, but the Vyslotov Pass or whatever? That's not the name. It's in Russia. It's in Russia, I believe.
Okay.
Okay, it's like a group of friends went camping and they all ended up dead but no one can figure out why.
Oh, yes, yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's die something is like DV something. Anyway, so I think about stuff like that. So
Mhm.
just please don't. Just please don't. Please don't ever. Maybe just don't ever go hiking ever. But that's up to you.
Yeah, because literally a group of kids ended up dead, so it's
Yes.
like, does it even
Wait.
matter how many
Yes.
people go with
Okay.
you?
Okay. See? Oh, the chat coming in strong right now. Yes, I love this. Okay. So Jermaine said that's how you get caught up for sure. Lady
Tourmaline.
Tourmaline. I was gonna butcher that. Thank you. Tourmaline. I was shocked they didn't tell people they were going camping. Seriously.
Yeah.
Maxine says the minute they said he bought a knife and a rope, I was like, how do you know he's not hunting or something?
For
Thank
real.
you. Like nobody can just go buy a rope nowadays. Like, you bought a rope. Oh, you're buying a rope. What are you planning? I don't know, to tie some things? Isn't that what
So
it's
is it
for? See, I'm gonna say it's like
Dyatlov
diet
Pass?
diet's love pass. Yeah. So thank you to everyone who just chimed in about that. Amazing, incredible. It's like I thought it and you guys just magically made it appear. Thank you. It's an excellent story. So creepy. I love it. I don't love it because people died. You know what I mean. You know what I mean when I say people died. I don't love it. I don't love that. But the story is really interesting. Okay. Okay. So I feel, I don't know. Do you feel like we can move on from the
Yeah,
main?
yeah.
Okay. Main quest over. Moving on to the side quests. Okay. So, one, I have something that it has been bothering me since I watched the episode, and I just have to talk about it. After the interview with Podcaster with the Bad Hair, okay? How is Gabby just instantaneously in Zeke's house? I was like, I feel like I'm missing a scene here. Like, what happened? Where I was like, this chick is so unhinged and so manic that she is like just like driving all over town, frantically showing up in people's houses.
Well,
She just like
listen,
shows up at his house and she's like, "What do you got for me, Zeke?" Like, okay, reel it in. How did you get here? You were literally just on TV. So how did you get here?
the second note that I wrote says, "Just when thought it wasn't possible, Gabby is now more," in all capital letters, "unhinged."
She she was in fine form this episode. I loved every second of it, but the mania was real. She was all over the place. She
Mhm.
was in the basement. She's in her office. She's in the main lobby. She's at Zeke's house. She's suddenly with Margaret in her therapy session. She's like all over the place. I'm like, are you okay? Can you take a sec? How did you get all these places?
Yeah, she
Yes,
did.
okay, she
She
did the
did.
interview from Mosley& and Associates. It's like literally, we're at a scene where, like, Margaret is, like, looking back and forth between the television where the interview is being aired to Gabby's office, which she can see her at her desk to see, like, her facial expressions in response, which I don't know why you'd look back and because you can literally watch her on the TV, but anyway, it's fine. It's fine. Dramatic effect for television. So so that was what was happening. And then bam, she's in Zeke's house, like, what do you got for me, Zeke? And I was like, what? How did you get here? How did you get there? So there was I don't know what happened. I was like,
I
did I
just
miss a
wanted
scene?
her to, like, take a Pam or something. I wanted her to do something.
She was not okay. Jermaine says, I think Gabby has superpowers like Doctor Strange. She can just like open a portal and is like in Zeke's house. What do you got for me, Zeke? Like, I was just like, can you chill? I just need you to chill. I know that she does like a lot of like manic like driving because she'll be like, I've got to go. And then she just suddenly leaves the office and then she's at her house to like confront Sir. So like clearly she's like constantly like I've gotta go. And then she's, like, somewhere else suddenly, but it was never more jarring than
But
it
then
was.
she's going and she's cursing Sir out, and then she's rushing out, and then she's magically appearing in other places.
I
I'm
was like,
like,
"Whoa, you are you've got a lot of energy today."
and then it didn't even matter what anyone said to her. It didn't matter if someone put the proof right in her hands. Like she was not nothing was penetrating her brain. Like,
No, it was like, when did we see that first? It was probably, like, the 2nd episode where you were like, "Oh, I need you to listen to what other people are saying."
like what is happening?
Um, Loved it, loved every minute of it. I don't want anybody to think otherwise. This was nuts. It was wild. I had no idea what was happening. I was like, "Whoa, she's really all over the place." So that really irked me, and then here's the other thing. Here's the other thing that caught my attention this episode. What's up with Zeke's beef with Trent? Why does he have beef? Why does he have beef? So they're talking about the photo, and Trent's like, "You found out at the end," Trent was like, "A young officer gave Allison's mom, the super Karen, the photo."
Hmm.
But at the beginning of the episode, when they're trying to figure out what happened, Zeke's like, "Are we
Oh,
sure it wasn't Trent?"
yeah.
And I was like, "Wh where did that come from?"
I feel like maybe it's just he's super protective of
It
Gabby.
was so weird. So then it was also weird because Lacey's like, "I don't think so," and I was like, "Uh-oh, are we first fight?
Yeah,
First
yeah.
fight, you guys? First fight?" So cute. Um, but also I was like, "Is this because of Dawn? Are you, like, standing up for your bud? Is this like, 'No, Dawn doesn't like this guy, neither do I. We're bros.'" Like, I didn't know what was happening, it was very weird. Janessa says that caused tension between him and Lacey. It was so weird. It
Yeah.
was so weird. "Frankie, please go lay down." I know, but, now it's not the time. So sorry. Oh my goodness. I don't know if you can hear this in the background, but it's getting a little bit of vocalization from the dog.
I
"Go
can't
lay down."
imagine what you guys are hearing from over here because there are children right over there.
Actually, no, I don't really hear them tonight. Maxine said, which is wild because Dawn doesn't even really have beef with Trent anymore. I know. This is just speculation, Maxine. This is just speculation. I don't
I
know. I
feel
don't know where
like
it came from. I thought it was so weird.
I feel like maybe they don't know that Gabby told him to go back, and they're thinking like, "Oh, he betrayed Gabby and went back to the police force."
Oh, maybe. It was interesting though, because then at the end, Zeke was like, "Why don't you go ahead and take a shot, Trent?" And I was like, "Did you poison the liquor? Did you poison it? Go ahead, take a shot." It was weird. I was like, "I don't know what's happening." I don't know if that was his way of, like, apologizing, like, he felt bad that he had accused him
Mhm.
earlier. I don't know. It was weird. It was just one of those things that stuck out to me, and I was like,
Or it could
"What's
have
happening?"
just been simply like, they were like, "Oh, we're getting another guy on the team, and, like, he's on our side completely now," and then he went
Well
back to the police force.
that and, like, is it competition
Mhm. Oh, yeah.
for Zeke? Does he
Right.
think? It's not because Trent's, like, wrapped around Gabby's finger a
Mhm.
bajillion times to a point that is upsetting, I think, for anything healthy and stable. "I will break the law for you, Gabby. Even though I tell you not to do it, I'll do it myself." Maxine says sometimes it feels like found edit scenes out that makes things feel just disjointed, like when
Mhm.
Lacey kicked that door down and stormed in during the Res episode. You are 100%
Yep.
correct. Yes.
Even when, they were in the when Margaret was in her therapy session that Gabby was in,
Mhm.
um, I I was like, "Am I imagining Gabby in the office with them?" Because then, right, it was like Margaret was in the train station talking to
Mhm.
her son, and then, like, Gabby was next to her. I swear, I was like, "Did someone slip me some acid? Because what is happening?"
Yeah, it's super common with, like, a first season of a show, but especially when you don't really know, like, what your budget's gonna be, like,
Mhm.
you have people who haven't worked together before, so everybody's kinda just trying to figure it out, like, the editing, the directing. "I want this scene. Oh, the writers wrote this scene, and we're gonna film it, but then we gotta cut it because there's not enough time," or the studio doesn't like that part or whatever, so it ends up happening a lot. I notice it a lot in shows, that get canceled, which so I'm so glad that we have a second season of Found
Mhm.
because, I don't know, Takira, you've probably noticed that in, like, sitcoms and stuff that if you watch that, like, got canceled after the first season, there's almost always something weird with it, like, the episodes got aired out of order
Yeah.
or something weird'll happen, so 100%, it seems like.
Just wanted to point out that was Firefly. They got canceled because the episodes
Mm.
weren't played in
They
the
were
correct
aired
order.
out of order, and,
Yeah.
they switched their time slot, like, 3 times, so
Mhm.
doomed from the beginning. Um, if you want us to talk about Firefly, I guess we could do that instead. Jermaine said Gabby slipped up when she told Trent about Sir. 100%. We're gonna get to it. We're gonna
Oh,
get to it.
yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So those are just a couple little things I wanted to mention. All right. So where do you want to go from here? It's mainly there's a little bit about Dawn, a tiny little thing to Dawn, but it's mainly Margaret and Gabby this episode.
Mhm.
So where do you want to go?
I guess we can get Don's little thing out the way,
Okay.
and then we can do Margaret, and then we
Okay.
can do Gabby.
All right. I'm gonna do Dawn, and then I'll let you do the Margaret part because I know that you love that. I know that was your favorite. Okay. So, Dawn. Again, we've left Dawn for quite some time in terms of character development. We haven't gotten a lot since the episode with the crazy hair. Um, where his therapist, who is also his husband, left. I've I just some of you haven't been with us since the beginning of this, but, yeah, it's weird. He is definitely married to his therapist, which seems like a conflict of interest, but it's fine. Um, yeah, that seems alright.
I
Whatever.
can confirm that it's a conflict
We
of interest.
Yeah, yeah. So Maxine says, "Truly, where is his husband? We haven't seen him since episode 2." Watch when we see him, he'll be like a different actor. He'll be, like,
Exactly.
recast. Uh, so Don Don's story this episode, we again, it's for a second, it's a split second, but we haven't gotten any character development on him in a little while, so I did wanna bring it up. We know that he was a prisoner of war and that he struggles with PTSD due to his time in service. Brandon, the main focus of this episode, the one of the missing persons, also is in service. He's in the reserves, I believe is what they said. Um, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, I thought they said reserves. So he did do a duty abroad, like a tour abroad, because there is a photo of him with his team in what looks like not America.
Mhm.
That's just my opinion. I only saw it for a minute, but I don't know. And Dawn sees this photo in Brandon's apartment and ends up staring at it for a little bit longer than a person normally would look at a photo of someone that they didn't know and a bunch of other people that they didn't know. I mean, maybe that's not fair to say. I might do that if I were like really looking at someone's house. Anyway, he he seems to kind of space in that moment. It's like he's not there. He's somewhere
Mhm.
else. He's gone somewhere else. And when Margaret says, "Are you okay?" He says, "Yeah, I'm just remembering."
Yeah, it's like he was looking at a different group of people in that photo.
Mhm. He lost his team from what we've been able to gather. That's what we've
Mhm.
been given. He lost his team due to the mistake of someone who was high. Now, the way he stated it, it always made it seem like it was someone else, but could it be him? And he blames
Mhm.
himself for the whole thing? Maybe. I don't know yet. We don't know. But this is the most development we've gotten in a little bit. So just wanted everybody to be kind of reminded of that part of his storyline. In terms of Lacey, we didn't really get anything this episode other than her little tiff with Zeke. And with Zeke, we didn't really get anything either, but we got really big stuff this last episode, so it makes sense. Anyway, on to Margaret, because this was big stuff this week for Margaret.
So, my girl Margaret, I'm so proud of her. I tried really hard. Like I was rewinding and everything, trying to figure out how long she lasted. Okay, so let me just go into the story. So Margaret is in therapy, and her therapist basically is trying to get her to understand that she's living in her trauma repeatedly every single night, going back to this bus station, and she wants her to be able to move past that.
I loved the terminology she used. She said that she was like picking at the wound.
Mhm.
So true. So,
Yeah.
so true.
Um I will say she jumped from going an hour late every night
I
to don't
know.
go at all. And I was like, "What? What is
I was like,
happening
this
right
seems
now?"
a bit extreme.
It was very extreme, like
I kind of thought maybe the therapist was doing that thing where they like over sell you on something so that even though you're going to be resistant, you'll be you'll be willing to go a little bit further than you're already going. Do you know what I mean? Like they push you by saying like you shouldn't go at all.
right.
And then you're like, "Well, fine, I won't go for 2 hours."
That's the only thing I was thinking is maybe she's trying some different thing where she kinda like, she knows that she's not gonna not go,
Mhm.
but her suggesting that she try to not go would make her try. Like, she wants to see if she would try to not
Yeah.
go, which she did, and I'm so, so proud of her, and I'm so angry that I couldn't figure out how much longer she lasted, like, past the hour.
Oh, yeah. Well, when does she normally go? Do we know what time?
We
I thought
don't,
it
and
was
I don't.
relatively early. I thought it was like 8, but
Yeah, I
maybe it
thought it
is
was 8
later.
as well, and then I feel like even when Gabby was telling her to go, I was, like, trying to look at the lighting coming from
Well, she
outside,
looked at her phone and it was 10:37.
okay.
So, I did see that. Why do I know that number? Why does that number stick out to me? That's weird. Anyway, I can't even remember what I did yesterday, but sure, 10:37.
So it's possible she lasted 2 hours and 37 minutes.
Possibly.
I
I
have a
don't know when she normally goes. That's the problem. I don't know when she normally
I
goes to the bus station.
feel like it's 8 o'clock. I do feel like it's 8 o'clock.
Felt like it was somewhere around there.
Yeah. Um, I have a question
Mhm.
for
Janessa, if
you.
you know the time, tell us because I know
Yeah.
you're good about stuff like that.
I have a question for you and for the audience.
Okay.
Um, do you think that Gabby should have done what Margaret asked her to do and, like,
Mm,
demanded that she stay?
no,
Okay.
I don't think so. Gabby knows like, okay, so yes, Gabby's background is in PR. Okay, like her education wise is in PR. Now, however, we do gain education through experience. Excuse me. It's why teachers have to do practicum, and it's why nurses have to do clinicals. It's why people have to intern. It's why we gather more education through experience.
Mhm.
So some experiences can lead to us having more education in an area that we may not be an expert in otherwise. Gabby is very well schooled in the world of trauma, as is anyone who's experienced a high level of trauma in their life. You experience several different traumas, you tend to become like more cognizant of how people respond to trauma, the signs of
Mhm.
trauma, all those kind of things. It would at Chinesa exactly. Keeping her there would have been too much. It just would have been too much to keep her there. But also, Gabby was literally concerned for her health.
Yeah.
She said, "You have a choice. I can either take you to the hospital or I can take you to the bus station," because her physical response
Mhm.
was very upsetting. She's pacing, she's breathing heavy, she's wringing her hands, like she's not okay. So I think to push her beyond that would have been really a negative experience for Margaret, even if she had made it, but I think her fears and her anxiety probably would have prevented her from making it that far anyway. It
I
probably
would
would have been
just
like a panic attack situation.
I would just hate for like I don't know, imagine she gets dehydrated and she passes out and
Mhm.
she gets taken to the emergency room and you know, I would
Yeah.
just hate for something like that to come up and then now she's in full complete freak out mode because
Yeah.
like I
She
believe
wouldn't
in
have even been in control then of making the decision to not go.
right.
Yeah. Okay, so hi Lois, happy you're here. Janessa said keeping her there would have been too much. She also says her physical symptoms were very reminiscent of withdrawal. I
Yes.
agree. I
Yeah.
agree. Lady Tourmaline, there we go, got it that time. Gabby saw the distress and she knew Margaret couldn't stay. Jermaine says, seeing her son in the flashback, got me.
Yeah.
It was sad. It was really sad.
Mhm.
Maxine said, it's kind of like when Zeke tried to go out and get his package. It was wonderful that he tried, but we can understand why a bad experience delays another attempt. Maxine, where did you come from?
Right?
Heaven?
Love that
Thank
you're
you. That was
here.
great insight. Thank you.
Um, I'm gonna be super annoying because I am in a whole bunch of psychology classes. But Margaret, like, of course, I know that Margaret needs a diagnosis, right
Mhm.
now.
Yeah.
But after watching this episode and seeing her physical reactions to not going, I think her diagnosis is beyond anything I was thinking that it would be, if that
Okay.
makes sense.
What were you thinking it was?
Um, I forgot what it's called, but there's like an attachment disorder.
Mm, mhm. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, and I was thinking she might have something along the lines of that.
Okay.
There's disorders that they say, "Oh, you would kind of only see it in adolescence," but I don't believe in that part of psychology either. I think that if it's possible to be in the human mind, it
Well,
can
I
be
think
in there.
statistically you can have like, statistically speaking, it can be more frequent in certain people, but
Right.
it doesn't prevent it from being capable, like, I guess, available to everyone. That's not really what I
Right.
mean.
I
Like,
don't like when, like, they try to eliminate it completely because you're out of an age bracket. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah, I
Um,
agree.
so there's some of those types of things that make me feel like, she could be in there because essentially she is frozen in time. She might
Mm,
not be frozen in time as a
well,
child, but
yeah, no, I deal with that a lot because we deal with, like, secure attachment
mhm,
concerns, in education because, children present very unusual behavioral issues if secure attachment is not solidified between the parent and them.
mhm.
Um, and yeah, the name is escaping me of what that would be. The opposite, because we
Yes.
always have to talk in positive. So we always talk about the positive aspect of it. We don't talk about the disorders or the negative aspect
Right.
of it. But um, yeah, it that is interesting to consider because it's almost like it would have been a reversal of role
Mhm,
because the child is gone.
mhm.
Okay. That's interesting. All right. Well, anything else to say about that, Takira?
Um,
If you wanna talk on the
also
I okay, I wanna
yes.
also clarify the
Yeah.
hypnosis thing. So I think it's easy to state that that's hypnosis, but what was actually happening is called hypnotherapy. It's different.
Mhm.
It does use some of the same techniques, but it's not like parlor tricky.
Right.
Hypnotherapy, I've done a hypnotherapy session before. It's really interesting to experience. Um I don't know. I actually use some of the techniques that I learned during that session still to this day. And this was like 20 years ago that I did the session. But what it does is I mean, you can be under hypnosis and you can I don't want to say I guess you can relive trauma that way or at least be able to access it from like the exterior so that you can explain what happened. There's
There
not like 100%, like, scientifically speaking, that's not like 100% science-wise. However, hypnotherapies can be used again, it's one of those things where it's like science is still like kind of out on this. There's a lot of different debates on both sides. But hypnotherapy uses like calming techniques and meditations to have you be aware in those situations to be able to travel them yourself. It's not as much looking on the outside as it is like working through the issue at that moment. So, for instance, a hypnotherapy technique that I was given was it was like a relaxation technique. So, what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to lay on the ground in the dark, and then you picture like a ray of sunshine like move from the tip of your head all the way down to your toes. And you're supposed to like think of the warmth that would come with that and travel. And I actually do this still when I get migraines because it helps my migraines to like dissipate. But they also do things like tell you to picture all of your problems as laundry on a line, and then the wind picks up, it carries it away. So it's stuff like that. But I'm sorry, Tigger, you were trying to say something.
oh, I was gonna say try to think of it like the human mind is amazing,
Mhm.
but
Definitely.
especially in these modern days, we do so many things to create white noise
Mhm.
to stop us from being able to do things that we should be able to do a little bit more naturally.
Mhm.
So in hypnotherapy and hypnosis, all they're really trying to do is quiet as much of that white noise in your brain as possible.
Yeah.
And it just allows you better focus in bringing up the memory and
Mhm.
understanding what happened and kind of rehashing it and
Yeah.
going back through it again.
When we see I think this was probably the most accurate portrayal of it I've ever seen
Mhm.
in, like, media. I should say, like, in Hollywood media, because when you see it portrayed in, like okay, there's a movie that I'm thinking of. Um, it was a horror movie about Nome, Alaska. And I wanna say, like, Mila Jovovich is in it maybe?
Oh god,
But
I love
anyway, it's about, like, that they see aliens, and she in it, it's like this, found footage portion of the movie where she goes to her therapist and they do hypnosis, and she gets put under, and then she tells the story, and it was presented as though this whole thing was real, and it wasn't. The found footage is fake, but this was, like, in the 2000s, so you thought, like, maybe it was real. It wasn't real. It wasn't real at all. But anyway, it's about Nome, Alaska. Um, that's what I think of when I think of hypnosis is, like, the, like, laying on the couch and, like, "And when I snap my fingers, you'll wake up." Like, that's what I think of, but
Mhm.
that's
Yeah.
not really how it is, not especially when it's used for therapies. It's more like yeah, this I thought was a more accurate portrayal. She's re like, living the experience, but you're not a bystander in your own life. You can make those decisions to change things in that moment, and so that's what was happening was she was trying to apologize to her son to
Mhm.
forgive herself. So I thought this was probably the most accurate portrayal of hypnotherapy, even though obviously it doesn't work like that exactly, where you would, like, see a exact replica of exactly what happened at that time. It would be based on your memory, and our memory is always skewed.
Yeah.
Unless unless Margaret is one of those people who can remember every moment of their entire life.
Oh my god.
Have you seen those?
I
They're
think they're so interesting.
that is so cool. Sorry, they did a special about it on, like, 60 Minutes when I was younger, and it's never left my head. It's, what is it? Mary Lou Henning? Mary Lou anyway, she's the redheaded actress from Taxi. She had that thing where she had total memory recall.
What?
Isn't that wild? Yeah. So throwback, the show Taxi. If you don't know what I'm talking about, probably go look it up. It was like forever and a day ago. Um, Danny DeVito was on it when he was young. Anyways, great. Judd Hirsch. It's a great show. Not at all applicable now, like super dated humor. But anyway, it was great. And there was a redhead in it. And this is gonna bother me, so now I'm gonna look it up. Anyway. Redhead from Taxi. Forgive me, everybody, for derailing. Mary Lou Henner. That was it.
Oh,
Mary Lou.
yes. Wait, I know that
I was
name.
close. I was really close. Um. Oh. Jermaine says the next TV show you both should cover is called Alaska Daily. It's got Hilary Swank.
What?
Well, I
How
don't
do I
know what
not
that
know
is,
about this
but
show?
you've piqued my interest, Jermaine.
Right?
Maybe we'll look into it. Like I said, with the holidays coming up, we like definitely do need this break for sure. So I'll be putting out some more like regular content videos. If you want to see any content from Takeerah, one, tell her that you want content, Takeerah. And then
Well,
definitely we should.
good news. My 1 month break starts this Friday.
There you go. Oh, it got canceled.
What?
All my favorite shows get canceled, so I'll probably love it. It's on Hulu. Well, thank you. Maybe actually, that's funny that you say that, Maxine, and also Jermaine, because I was talking about potentially doing a show on my channel based on TV shows that get canceled. So that's interesting that you brought that up. I was thinking
Mhm.
about doing that because I've loved so many shows that have been canceled. Janessa says there was a cop show a couple years ago where the lead cop lady had that perfect memory. Oh
Oh,
yeah, what was
yeah.
that called?
Wait, I watched it
I
because
remember that. Yeah.
what was it called?
Because at the time, I kept bringing up that Mary Lou Henner had it because to me, that's just the most amazing thing in the world.
Why can't I remember what the name of the show?
Here
I
we go.
watched it.
TV show about
Unforgettable.
you got it, girl. That was it. Unforgettable. It was a good show. Probably got canceled too. Maxine says, me too. Pitch and Still Starcross still haunt me to this day. I don't know either of those.
Me either.
My Roman Empire. My Roman Empire is this show called Wonder Falls. It's about a woman who has some sort of psychotic break and inanimate objects with faces. They have to have a face. As long as they have like an animal face, they start talking to her. I loved it. I loved it. It was so good. That and you know what else? Pushing Daisies.
I love Pushing Days.
Anyway, again, I'm derailing this entire show. I apologize. This is self-sabotage,
And
I
New
think.
Amsterdam, the other New Amsterdam, not the medical New Amsterdam.
Oh. All right. This is why we need to do a show on it. It's fine. Do Law and Order SVU. No way. That's so many episodes. Duh. No. Well, Lonnie says The Passage. I wanted a second season so bad. Ooh.
The
Janessa said
Passage
Pitch
was
was Mark Paul. It was Mark Paul again?
familiar. Oh, I forgot
Lady
to
from
say.
Lean. I'm
Wait,
so glad you're talking about. She said, yes, that was great. They told her to do things. They did. It was so good. Okay.
you guys said Mark Paul, and I wanted to just go back and laugh because the very first note that I wrote said MPG doing sit-ups. That's it. That's the note.
Just him doing sit-ups.
Just that's it.
Um, Maxine says Pitch and The Passage were too cursed. Mark Paul shows. Oh, MPG.
Oh
We
no.
love you, MPG. Especially as Sir. I don't know why. It's Creepsville, but I love it.
Hmm.
I'd be writing HE all over my notebooks.
First of
That
all,
is
wait a
so
minute.
messed up.
Wait. Wait.
That is so messed up. I can't believe I just said that out loud. That is so jacked.
But you said that and it just threw me right back into what in the hell was wrong with Sir? Did he really think that little girl was doodling about him in her notebook?
Hugh Evans forever. Gabi Mosely and Hugh Evans forever.
Yes, Lauren Ridloff was on an episode of New Amsterdam. Yes, she was.
Well, that explains why Takeerah loves it. Bruh, and the way he grunted, I blushed, Janessa. You dirty dog. You dirty, dirty dog. I love it. Um, okay. So, the MPG portion. Okay. All right. So, Gabby. Gabby in this
Oof.
episode, aside from being especially unhinged and super manic, is also trying to uncover the mystery of Annie.
Mhm.
Stephanie Annie, whatever her last name was, I forgot. Okay. So she asks Trent at some point during the episode, please go ahead and look up this person for me. I need to know what happened. I'm trying to find her. Um, she has a crazy. It reminded me of the Charlie Day meme with like the board, the serial killer board with like all the strings. That made me think of. She's just like manic, like Zeke, you got anything for me? Like writing on her board.
Wait, it reminded
Uh,
me of the actual manic episode from, Homeland. Have you seen Homeland?
I am not.
She was actually bipolar, and she was having a whole manic episode, and that's what her wall looked like, and it reminded me of that so
Well,
much.
there's some mania. It takes one to know one, and I knew it immediately. Annie Lopez.
Oh,
Thank
yes.
you, Annie Lopez. Thank you, Jermaine. Okay, so Maxine says he was stressed about that notebook, and poor Gabby was so confused. Seriously, he's like pointing at it so frantically. HE, that's me, Hugh Evans. And she's like, no, bro, that's my girl.
And poor Gabby
Whatever,
was like,
Heather Edwards. What? See, why do I remember that? I couldn't remember Lopez, but I can remember that in detail. What is happening? Lady Tourmaline says that was super creepy. He was a teacher and he thought she meant him. I
"Oh
know.
my gosh.
I know.
Oh my gosh."
I know. Oh my gosh.
First of all, why are you looking so closely at what she is doodling in her notebook? Like, why are you just being such a super creep? Oh, Frankenstein.
Frankenstein. I know. She was like so desperate when I got home today. I don't know what the deal is. She must have been stressed today. Janessa says she had her conspiracy board out for the whole world to see. Really though. Really. So anyway, so Annie. Annie's the girl who shows up, but none of it really makes sense. Is Annie in on it? Is Annie not in on it?
Mhm.
And we come to find out at the end of the episode from Trent that Annie is dead. Why? Because Sir killed her? No, Annie died in a car crash by chance. Annie was also institutionalized for a year after she was released by Sir. So Hugh Evans, classy duty is, convinced Annie's family that she was nuts and had her committed for a year.
I still think it's more to that story because, like,
There's more. Oh,
what is
there's
he
more.
so
I know
pissed
there
off
is.
at her about? Like, he hates Annie. He's, like, so disgusted with her, and
He's like out for revenge against Annie. Like she
yes.
shows up and he's like, "I'll have you institutionalized for life." Bruh, she's in high school. I don't
Yeah,
know.
they were
Something
both
weird about
off
that.
their rocker in this episode. Him in the past and her in the present.
Mhm. Maybe I don't know. I don't wanna say it. Never mind. Maxine said, "Imagine seeing the HE and thinking, I should get closer to the student and not, that's weird." You know what it makes me think of is that Police song, "Don't Stand So Close to Me." That's a teacher singing that to their student. Did you not
Oh,
know that?
right. What, really? Is it?
Yes. Yeah. It's in the music video. It's a teacher singing it to the student. It's so creepy.
That's true. Now, why would her parents not report her missing?
I don't know. Okay, so, Janessa, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know,
We are
but if
missing
she
something.
bouts of mania or any other sort of underlying mental illness, she may have disappeared at times, or maybe she was, like, part runaway. That's the whole problem with all of this, right? Like, that's the whole point the show is making is that, like, people like that are often aren't looked for after that.
What if it's the opposite? What if, like, she had a crush on him and he thought
I
she
was
was
that was what I was
creepy.
gonna say, and then I was like, maybe he didn't like that she, like, sexually advanced on him because of how
Yeah,
weird he is.
I
And then I
feel
was
like
like, "No, I don't wanna say
that
that."
might be what
That was why
happened.
I was like, "I don't wanna say that." Okay, okay, hold on. We missed some stuff. I missed what Jermaine said. Maxine says, "I think he was mad because she escaped, which is why he was so." No, you no!
Oh, wait, 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 I think I can get it.
I'm losing them, I'm losing them.
I think he was mad because she escaped, which is why he was so harsh on Gabby.
Oh,
He
yeah, he was pissed.
Heather said, "Why didn't anyone report any missing? Did I miss something?" You didn't miss
What did
anything.
what did Jermaine say before that?
Sir's jealousy is way through the roof.
True. Lady Tourmaline says, "How could he manipulate Annie's parents so successfully?" I don't know. That's why I'm like, she had to have had some sort of underlying issue for
Something
them to
else,
even
yeah,
believe this guy.
there's more to the story.
So I don't know. So
And
maybe
she's
she.
not letting him get it out, and it's driving me crazy.
Here's the other thing. You just told this fool, "I'm gonna find out. I don't need you anymore once I find out what happened to Annie." He's never gonna tell you.
Mhm.
Baby girl, he doesn't want that. Why would you tell him that? And then also, what are you doing at the end? What are you doing? Who are you calling? Is it Don? Is it to kill him?
I
Is it Lacey? Are
guarantee
you finally gonna admit it?
Nope, I guarantee it's Don. Just the way
It's
she
not
said,
Trent. It's
"It's
not
about
Trent.
Sir." She's like, "It's about Sir." And the way she said that, I
Hey,
feel
it's
like
me.
the other person was Don, like, "Oh."
Don, come here and kick his ass. Also, why did he let her go? Was he bored with her? Was it because she lost it? I don't know. So that's the thing. Like, I'm torn between like, did she escape or did he just let her go?
Oh, Lady Tourmaline said, "Sir said she wouldn't adapt."
Oh, but what does that mean?
It's
Because neither did Gabby.
yeah, no, something
I'm
we're
missing a
missing
piece. I'm
something.
missing a
Yeah,
critical piece. His MO is saving neglected students, and maybe Annie actually was neglected, said Maxie. Fair.
mhm.
Actually, that makes the most sense. Heather says Sir has some serious arrested development. True. True. Also another great show. Um, Gabby is so bad at this. Amen. That's why we call her our unhinged queen. She is not okay.
At all.
She is not okay and she is not good at it. And also, like, what are you ever doing?
And then he, like he started trying to tell her what she wanted to know about Annie, and then she's like, "I'm sick of your lies." And I'm like, "But it was just proven that he didn't lie, ma'am. What is happening right now?"
I know. And the line to Trent, Sir is telling the truth. I love that he was like, wait, what did you just say? What did you just say? Are you talking to him? And she's like,
It
no,
doesn't
I've got to go.
he
Bye.
said
No, that's weird. Why would I say that? Bye. It's like you couldn't have said anything worse to make yourself more suspicious. Like it was ridiculous. Janessa says to quote Sir, he's a master puppeteer. True. He
Yeah.
is.
I just wanna say that the scene when they first walked in and Gabby looks around and there's just books everywhere, my husband was like, "Well, my wife's kidnapped."
Heather said she didn't want to read all those books. She didn't. She was like, I want
He
to go
did.
home. I
Yeah.
want to go home. Also, it was like when he panned around, some of them were like old textbooks. Like some of them were like English literature. And I was like, what? Who's like, yeah, I'm so amped to go into this broken down home to get all these books. That's like suspicious from right out the gate. Just right out the gate.
Oh, someone on Twitter keeps pointing out, which is just such a wonderful fact. Like, we know your personality, sir. We know you don't like dust and dirt and grime and this and that and blah blah blah. What are you doing in this dusty ass cabin?
He's got to do what he's got to do, for love and whatnot, for family. Jermaine says you see the look on Trent's face when Gabby told him about Sir. Huh? It was like a double take. Turlene said maybe Annie didn't read the script. She didn't play into his world even a little bit. Oh, that's yeah, maybe. That's actually a good guess. It's a really good
Mhm.
guess. Thank you. Janessa says she's always acting so suspicious. What do you mean? What do you mean, Janessa? No. No. I'm just remembering something from before. Okay, bye. Okay. Maxine says, I'm shocked that no one on that team suspects that Gabby murdered Sir
For
because
real.
Cole acts way too calm about his false sighting. Like, really? Like, why are you so confident that it's not? I do, I do love that. Truly, truly.
Oh wait, what about Don? Like, I felt like, okay, what is happening that he was like, right? That's not sir, right?
Right?
And I'm like, okay, I would lock him up immediately. What do you
For
mean?
anyone
Like,
for
what?
any I know, it's like everybody's so bad at this. For anyone who's new, like we just have this belief that Sir was actually so when Gabby found out like where he was, that she worked with Dawn to kidnap him because she wouldn't be able to subdue him by herself.
Mhm.
And so we believe that Dawn is the one who helped her like potentially build the prison, like get him
Mhm.
in there. And the reason we think that is because during the episode where he's at the strip club, where he's at the strip club, when they talk about it, Todd looks at her and goes, "But he's not. That's not him, right?"
Right?
And so we're like, he knows. He knows what's happening. Heather said, I think everyone is traumatized and trying not to judge each other, so they just write everything off as everyone
Every-
processes differently.
And I
Look
think
here, I'm gonna tell you this right now. I've been through a buttload of trauma. I'm judging you. I'm judging you. If you do this to me, if you're like, oh no, no, from earlier. Okay, bye. I'm judging you. I don't care if you process differently. I'm definitely thinking that you murdered someone. Maxine said, I 100% think Don got him down there.
oh
Thank
yeah.
you. Thank you. Heather said, same girl, same. All right. Well, I have to say, this was a great episode, but also thank you, all of you, for being here. This
Yes.
was fun. This was so fun. Um, I think that wraps it up. If you guys have any questions, throw it in the chat. But I think that really kind of wraps it all up. Maxine says, Gabby saying it's me in that basement, the part I lock away. Like, what? Same. I was like, girl, why are you talking out of your butt right now?
She
You
she's gonna go back and be like, "Well, I didn't lie because I told Sir that he turned me into him. So I'm him, so he's me, and he's the me that I lock in the basement."
that sounded so crazy just now. I'm him and he's me. How many episodes are left?
2.
Yeah, only 2. It's weird. We have a break now, right? Until January.
Mhm.
So we have a break now until January. I don't know that it's announced on here anywhere. I don't see it on here. Yeah, I don't see it on here. It'll come back in January 9th. Um, yeah, it's like all of a sudden we're coming back. We're only getting 2 episodes. This is just like a weird break. But I'm thankful because I have a lot of holiday stuff to get done. Heather said I got to renew this Peacock subscription. You sure do.
I'm
You
trying to
sure
check
do.
on the runtime for the finale because I see it
Okay,
flashing
Maxine
in the
said there's a
chat.
2-hour finale, I think. Lady Tourmaline, thank you for giving us the January 9th date. Chanessa, did anyone else notice that on the early scene with Sir and Gabby, he refers to Annie in the present tense? Why? Because he knew she wasn't dead.
Mhm. Or he probably didn't know that she died in a car accident.
Yeah, because he knew that she was still alive. Jermaine says, mark the calendar for February 25th. I know the ones
Oh,
who
yes.
live. I
Oh,
know.
yes.
We're waiting. Um, for anyone that joins us just for Found, I am a huge Walking Dead fan, as is Takeerah here, as is
Just
Jermaine in the
Walking Dead
chat,
stuff in the
as
background.
is Heather in the chat. We all are. And that's how we all found each other. And Lois, if she's still here, also Walani, same. Um, we are all huge Walking Dead fans, and there's a new spinoff coming. Oh my gosh, Maxine, I knew I loved you. I knew I loved you, and you just confirmed it. She said, "Mom and Dad will be back." Yeah,
Yes.
we're all very excited about it. Just excited to see Michonne and Rick again and get a continuation of the story. Um, anyway, I will be doing coverage of that with Squawking Dead. So
And
make sure you subscribe there, Rashone. Yes, Walani. And then also Takira will be doing some coverage of it with Marcus, I believe.
I'll be doing coverage actually in two places. Me and Marcus will be doing coverage on YouTube on the Ones Who Talk.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we will be putting out some stuff soon.
And that's
And
youtube.com slash
Flash,
at symbol the ones who
yeah.
talk.
And then we are not we, me and a couple of ladies are putting out a podcast for the Ones Who Live as well.
So you are going to do that no matter what.
Hmm.
Okay. Did you get any feedback otherwise?
Um, Not yet.
Okay.
We added someone to the roster,
Okay.
so I feel a little bit like there's like a writer and like a producer and then me. And
Okay.
I'm like I'm like,
You're like, how did I get here?
how did I get here?
All right. Well, we are going to wrap this up. But thank you guys for being here. I loved it. Thank you for engaging. It's super fun. Walani, thank you. Heather, thank you. Chanessa, thank you. Lady Tourmaline, thank you. Maxine, thank you.
Thank
What a welcome
you.
addition you are to this. Chanessa, as always, thank you for being here and being our fact checker. Marcus, thank you. Jermaine, thank you. Lois, thank you. I think I got everybody, but I'm not really sure. But thank you to everyone that was here. Please make sure to go ahead and like this video. Also, subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. Hit the notification bell if you want. I don't really care, but the algorithm usually likes it. And thank you guys for being. What fun. Thank
We
you.
love you guys so
We
much.
love
Thank you
you.
so much.
Yes. See you on Twitter. For
Absolutely.
live tweet, I will be back next week to live tweet, God willing. I should be. I mean, I'll be tired, but I'll be there.
Well,
Uh,
no, that's
no, I
January.
won't. That's January.
Yeah.
I might not be there. I don't know.
Oh my gosh, we won't see you guys until January. Well, we'll see you on Twitter because if I find
Yeah.
any like little
My goodness. Happy
whatever.
holidays. Merry Christmas.
Hmm.
Happy Hanukkah if you're celebrating it currently. Oh my goodness. And Happy New Year.
Yes, all of the
Wow, we
things,
won't be going live till next year. That's wild.
all of the
Anyway,
holidays.
there will be videos coming out slowly but steadily. And like I said, make sure to go ahead and follow Takira as well.
I'm going on college break, so I'm gonna be putting some stuff out.
We'll miss you though. We'll miss you guys. But anyway, you know where we are. DM us, whatever, if you want to chat. And feel free to bring us ideas for the shows that have been canceled. Now, I have not recruited Takira for this, but she was very interested in it when I brought it up. So who knows what'll happen. But I would really like to do that. It may just be that I have a guest star every week. So people can talk about like their favorite.
Hmm.
Oh, miss you all during the
Oh,
brief fight, as I
thank
know. Miss you
you.
guys. All
We
right.
I'm gonna try to like just every week post something on Tuesday night for Found on Twitter, just like
Okay. We yeah. We will when the show ends, we will do at least one live episode where we do something that was suggested. Well, it wasn't suggested by a viewer. They just asked us a question and I was like we should just turn that into a whole episode. But we're going to make playlists for each of the characters. Because they were asking if we felt like this song would be on this character's playlist, and I just thought that was a really fun idea.
mhm.
So we will do that at the end of the season. Do
The new
Orphan Black
one,
the show,
the new one.
new one or old one maybe.
I mean, I freaking love Orphan
I
Black.
gotta let this dog out. She is wild right
Okay.
now. Okay, I love you guys. Thank you so much for being here, and we'll see
Happy
you in June.
holidays.
Bye.